There's no way around it. You can debate it. You can sit down, have a beer with your buddies. You can do whatever you want. But one name's going to come up along with others, and that's Brock Jensen. He is one of the best quarterbacks North Dakota State University has ever had. And if you don't believe it, just go look at 3 national championships in a row. How's that? How would you like to be able to look at your kids and say, yeah, I only won 3 national championships in a row? Not bad. Let's visit with him. Brock, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me, Joel. Good to see you.
Okay. What's it like to be crawling into bed the night before a national championship game? You're down in Frisco, and you're sitting there, and you got one of the biggest games ever the next day.
Yeah, good question. So it changed kind of throughout all 3 championships. My first answer, the first year, I didn't sleep very well. It was a tough night's rest. Obviously, a lot of nerves. I'm very confident in the preparation throughout. You get an extra week in there. There's a lot of build up and everything, and you get a lot of preparation time, which is great. So felt very prepared about our game plan, how we were going to attack Sam Houston State in 2011 and all that. But that buildup kind of starts to really compound, the closer you get to game time. So pretty nervous going into, that night's sleep. But, when I woke up, can't say I felt super refreshed. I was ready to go, just running on kind of my adrenaline really at that point. But no, it was, obviously leading up to game time and everything, it's everything you dream of to get there, going through that season. And finally making it there, and you just got to find a way to get it done one more time, right? One more game, and it was just it was just an unbelievable feeling the first time around, because you finally made it to the top of the mountain. You finally accomplished what you set your mind to, with all the other teammates and coaches, and you finally got there and can watch that confetti fall through your hands. But I will say, as the years went on, the last championship, I slept like a baby, Joel. I did. I got a great night's sleep in Towson, probably one of the best night's sleeps of my life. So it was good.
I was at every one of them. I was at every one of them. And I went to the University of North Dakota, obviously this weekend. I won't be cheering for the Bison, but I sure was then. I'm sitting there watching you play and how dominant you guys were. And yet you're sitting there going, hey, there's a reason they're here too. There is. How big of a factor is it to have such a dominant and big crowd when you were in Frisco?
Yeah, and again, just kind of throughout the years, the first year it was kind of a little bit of a balanced mix. There's a lot of Sam Houston State fans there in 2011. But obviously a really good showing, the first year by North Dakota State fans too. But yeah, a huge rush running out of that tunnel, for the first year and every year. But then just to kind of see the progression of fans go from, I'm just throwing it out there, but like 60% or 50%, kind of 50-50 the first year. And then like 65-35 maybe in 2012, and then like 90-10, 95-5, in 2013. So obviously our fans are amazing. I mean, that's a lot of what attracts kids to come play for NDSU. They want to be under the microscope. They want to play in that Fargo Dome, one of the best places in the country to play on a Saturday, and it's just an electric atmosphere. And but yeah, running out of the tunnel in Frisco every year was great memories.
So one of the reasons I asked you that was because for the first time in like forever, the University of North Dakota is actually hosting a game against NDSU. So how big of a factor is that to have them at home, to have that crowd be yours?
Yeah, it's huge, obviously. And so it's the Bison play at UND, right, this week?
Yes.
Okay, right.
For the first time in
first time.
Yeah, exactly.
In a long time. Yeah, right. So, that's a huge factor for, obviously, UND to be able to leverage that. They should be packing that stadium full and trying to cause a lot of disruption for the Bison offense, in tomorrow's game. So it's obviously been a huge factor for us over the past decade plus. And for them to be able to kind of see that, and now be able to kind of create that themselves and get us in their environment, they kind of have us where they want us here now. So, that'll be an advantage for them that they need to try to create somehow. So we'll see how it goes, but I know we'll travel well too. So, maybe it'll seem like it's the crowd eruptions might seem a little louder even for NDSU, depending on how that, how it looks with tickets and how many Bison fans try to sneak in there. So.
Well, there's going to be some. Speaking of someone who knows a bunch of them that are going to be in there. Let me ask you this. The first point's up on the board. In a game like this where emotions are high, I mean, clearly the University of North Dakota is the underdog, and they're going in what I would say is a pretty heavy, underdog. So to get those first points on the board, how important is that in a game like this?
Yeah, so very important. To try to take the crowd out of it, and you do that from the first possession. If you're NDSU, if you're Tyler Roll in the offense, you're obviously prepping for that first drive. The first 10 plays are always scripted. So you kind of have an idea of how you're wanting to attack them from square one. And sometimes, UND's strategy will obviously to be able to, will want to get NDSU off of that script, that 10-play script early. So NDSU needs to just be able to, come out and execute the first, few plays, get that first down, settle the crowd down, to alleviate that noise early on. And you do that by a nice sustained drive, pick up some first downs, eventually hopefully leads to some points, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal.
I only played at the high school level. I went to play baseball, but, for you, you would, at the high school level, I know this. In games where I was nervous, in big games, I always liked it when you got that first hit behind you.
Yep.
When you hit somebody or they hit you. And maybe explain that to folks, because I think that's pretty universal with football players.
Yeah, Joe, you nailed it. So that is exactly the case for me too. Throughout my whole entire career, from high school, college to pro, you'll actually see a lot of game plans just throughout all those levels that I played at. A lot of times in the first, like I said, the first 10 plays are always scripted. You'll see a quarterback run in those first 10 plays, and all of my coaches throughout time at every level I played at knew that I liked to get that first shot, right? That acclimates you into the game. It calms your nerves, and then now it's go time. Now everything else you just feel good. You took that first hit, hopefully picked up a few yards, and now you can continue into the game plan and execution of plays after that. So, yeah, there's just something about taking that first shot that just gets you kind of acclimated to the game. And again, if you've played the game, you kind of understand what that feels like. It's kind of hard to explain to someone who hasn't, but yeah, it just kind of takes the nerves out of the mix and allows you to play a little bit more free and loose.
One more, I promise, Brock. And I really appreciate you coming on. I do.
Joel, thank you.
When SDSU was your big rival, you didn't get to live in this world. How much do you think you missed out? How much do you think you missed out by not getting to play UND?
I know. And they got to play, I think, was it the year after or 2 years right after I was done? Maybe it was the year after even. Obviously pretty bummed to be able to not play them once even in my whole career. So for me, I kind of joke with everybody because here's this long-standing tradition, of rivalry between the two schools, and I didn't really get to experience that, And so, I didn't really get to boo UND for, NDSU. It's like, no, not really, for me. It's kind of.
As a UND fan, I have to tell you, it doesn't break my heart because I think you would have cleaned them up. Brock, thank you. Thanks for joining us, man.